Hi guys, it's Megan from Skinny Delicious. I'm popping by today to talk about weight gain fear and why 1200 calorie diets are way too low. So today I got a couple of disturbing comments on the blog from a reader on my most popular post. And this post is called My Fear of Gaining Weight. And so for those of you who don't know me, here's some background real quick. 7 years ago, I lost 80 pounds by walking and changing my diet slowly over the course of a year. And after that year was up, I had lost 80 pounds, went from a size 14 to a size 2 in the course of that year. And I had built all kinds of healthy habits and became obsessed with being healthy and exercising and eating well. And I suddenly started a blog and had a ton of followers. It grew really quickly in the last 2 years that I've been blogging. And so suddenly I've got all these people following me. I started this blog, and yeah, so I started sharing all my healthy recipes. And from there, I started also sharing a lot of my weight loss tips, because a lot of people, after I had lost weight and while I was losing weight, people kept saying, well, how are you losing weight? And to me, it seemed like a no-brainer. I was like, well, I'm just walking and I just started to eat a bunch of good food. It didn't seem like a really big deal, but a lot of people wanted to know, how was it really doing it and how was it keeping it off? So I started a blog as a way to document what was happening with me. And interestingly enough is about 3 months after I started my blog, this was back in, I think, 2014, I started having like all these stress fractures because I have weak bones. I have osteopenia. And I also found out that I'm gluten intolerant, and I have Hashimoto's, and I have avascular necrosis, which is a bone disease. And so I have all these things that are going on with me, and they all seem to happen like right when I started the blog. And I've been talking about different things for weight loss and giving different tips. And one day I got injured and suddenly I couldn't work out and I couldn't eat. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to gain all of my weight back. And I was literally freaking out when the doctor told me that I really couldn't do anything except for swim for the next 6 weeks because I had a broken foot. And I literally was just horrified. I was like, oh my goodness, like I just lost all this weight a couple years ago, and I'm going to put all this weight on. And this was before I became a nutritionist and kind of realized how silly that was, and that wasn't going to happen. But that was the thinking I had. So as a result of that thinking, I poured myself into this blog post called My Fear of Gaining Weight. And I cannot tell you how popular this post is. It is like the most popular post on my website. Every single day I'm getting some kind of a comment or an email from a reader about this particular post. And in some ways it's very disturbing, because there are a lot of women that are coming to me saying, I really fear gaining weight, but I fear that these people have like some serious eating disorders based on the things that they're saying to me. And so I wanted to pop by today and talk about this, because it is a really serious topic, and it's really been weighing on me as I see all of these comments and emails coming through all the time about people scared to eat. First of all, food is fuel. Like, don't be scared to eat. Like you have to eat. You're not going to live if you're not going to eat. Do you want to live or do you want to die? Like, that. And sorry, I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, you have to eat to survive. Food is not an enemy. It doesn't have to be. I think that so many times, so people use food as an emotional thing. They're not being fulfilled in some way in their life. It's they're not being fulfilled with their partner. They don't have a partner. They feel alone, isolated, depressed. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that can lead to that, right? But in some way, somehow, they're just not getting that fulfillment in their life, or they're not feeling good enough. And food is that way of them feeling good enough or controlling what they feel like they cannot control in their life. Now, I will tell you that when I had gone through my fracture with my foot and I couldn't work out for those 6 weeks, I taught myself to swim, and I was still able to keep active even though it wasn't the regular amount of activity that I was used to. I still ate like I normally did, and I didn't gain any weight. So I learned through that process that I didn't have to fear food. But I will admit that before that, after I had lost all of my weight, I kind of freaked out. Like, you lose all the weight, and then suddenly you go, holy crap, what the hell am I supposed to do now? You know, because you're so used to kind of having certain habits and certain things that you do to help with your weight loss. You know, you're looking at the scale every day, or you're putting in your calories and you're watching what you're eating, and then suddenly you're like, well, am I supposed to still do that? I mean, nothing out on the internet, nothing out in the world really tells you how to transition from weight loss to real life. And I think that's why so many people screw it up, because they go back into real life and they have no clue what they're supposed to do. And for me, it was just a process of trial and error. I mean, I just basically stuck with all the habits I had stuck with. I was eating more calories at that point because I was smart enough to know that eating a 1,200 calorie diet, you can't sit on a 1,200 calorie diet for very long, because your body, your metabolism slows down. And this is well researched and documented, people. So stop going on 1,200 calorie diets, because you will eventually stop losing weight. You may initially see a weight loss, but then all of a sudden it's just gonna boom, it's gonna stop. And it's because your metabolism is going to slow down. Your body says, whoa, put on the brakes. I'm not getting any fuel. I'm going to adapt to the situation by hoarding or slowing down my metabolism and using less fuel for all of the things that I need to do within the body. So you're actually doing yourself more harm than good when you're on these 1,200 calorie diets. And thankfully, I was smart enough, because I had researched this before I lost weight, and I knew not to go that low in my calories. I knew that only 100 to 200 calorie deficit per day was probably a safe place for me to be. And that's where I kept myself. And then at one point, I actually started eating more calories while I was still losing weight, in order to get myself out of a plateau. So I did some funky things, and some things that most people aren't going to think to do, probably on their own. And that's how I got around that. But the thing is that this one reader who wrote in on this post today, she wrote on this post that she is 5'9", and she's like 145 to 150 pounds, which is actually a very thin weight for somebody that tall. I mean, it's a normal weight, but it's pretty thin. And then she wrote in the post about how she's eating 1,200 calories a day because she doesn't like the size that she's at. I think she said she was like a size 8. Well, who cares? It's a number. Like, who cares? Like, you're tall. You're going to be in a bigger size no matter what you do, unless you chop off your legs. So she wrote that she was 145 pounds, but that, you know, she's only eating 1,200 calories and she can't lose weight. And she only seems to be able to drop another size if she goes to like 800 calories. Oh my God, 800 calories. I think I eat like 800 calories for breakfast, people. Like, are you serious? And I'm a size like 2, sometimes 4. Like, it just depends. But I'm like, wow, yesterday I ate like 2,600 calories. Like, holy cow, she's eating 800 calories? Whoa, guys, like, really, that is dangerous. Super dangerous. Like, please do not go on a 1,200 calorie diet. Please do not be eating 800. If you're eating 800 calories, you need to see somebody. You need to go talk to somebody, because you are doing your body so much harm. And I know I'm kind of laughing, but I'm laughing because I know how serious this is. I mean, I am a nutritionist. I have studied this for the last 2 years in nutrition school I just wrote a research paper about how 1,200 calories is so detrimental. So it's so ironic that this person wrote this in the comments of this post today, because I'm like, holy cow, I just did all this research on this exact same subject. Holy cow, I'm sorry, I'm just blown away. Sometimes life has so many different crossroads. So anyways, the danger with 1,200 calories is that not only does it slow down your metabolism, which, by the way, is really hard to get your metabolism to start working again after you do that to yourself. Very, very hard. It takes years and years and years to get that metabolism going again. So don't do it to yourself. It's not worth it. The worst part about it is the hormonal effect that happens. I mean, there is a ripple effect on your hormones that happens when you go on these low-calorie diets. And I think so many people just do not understand the chemistry that happens behind this. And so they just willy-nilly go on these diets, not realizing that the danger that they're putting themselves and their bodies into. So let me break it down. I'll try to say this as simple as I can, not going into all the sciencey stuff. So what happens when you go on these really low calorie diets? Your metabolism slows down. Your body basically freaks out and goes, whoa, I'm gonna starve. So I am going to do whatever I can to hoard on to fat and calories that I get and make sure I efficiently utilize whatever food I get. Your body's smarter than you. You can't outsmart it, I'm sorry. So hormonally, what ends up happening eventually is you get stressed out. You start to feel stressed out. And these manifest in different ways. Some people can't sleep, some people have night sweats, some people just feel fatigued or run down, they just don't feel like themselves. Well, this is a sign that your cortisol is really high. And when cortisol is high, it's your stress hormone, right? So what ends up happening is insulin gets released. Your pancreas makes insulin. It releases insulin to basically pull in sugar and store fat. So insulin is your fat storage hormone. What ends up happening though with insulin is that when you're chronically stressed with that high cortisol, is insulin will be constantly released trying to find any type of sugar it can store as fat because it doesn't know when it's going to get more food. It's the body's stressed. So insulin is going to store all that fat, and oh, by the way, you're trying to lose weight, and guess what? Your body's just storing more and more fat. I mean, seriously, you're just doing more harm. So and then the other things that potentially can happen is your thyroid hormone can stop functioning. Digestion can stop functioning. You're going to stop assimilating nutrients and become nutrient deficient. And you can, a bunch of different things can happen. You can get mineral and vitamin deficiencies. You can get osteoporosis. You can get all kinds of fractures and, things like that. So those things can manifest. Your reproductive systems can shut down. You can get amenorrhea. Your periods are going to go away if you're a female. So all those things, are potential risk factors for you that can happen. And they're very hard to reverse. Very, very hard. I guess to me, because I'm in this space all the time, I take it for granted that people know how dangerous a 1,200 calorie diet is. And I know I kind of laughed before, but it's not really a laughing matter. It's a very serious matter. It's something that people really need to be more aware of. And that's why I felt like it was, something that I really wanted to come on Facebook Live and talk to you guys about, because there's so many mixed messages out there about what's a good diet, what should you be eating, what shouldn't you be eating, how many calories should you be eating. And I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, but stop Googling it. Stop looking at magazines for the answer. The answer is all in you. Every single person is different. And I know nobody wants to hear that. Nobody in this day and age wants to hear that they are different. Because you are. I'm sorry, you are. Every person is different. Every person has a unique set of, chemical makeup that causes them to react to different lifestyle and foods in different ways. And so there is no one solution. Don't Google how many calories I should eat. As a matter of fact, this person who wrote in, she wanted me to tell her, what do I eat every day? Well, I'm not going to tell you what I eat every day because I eat 2,500 calories, obviously, and you eat 800. So what are you going to do with that? I mean, it's everybody is different. I work out a lot, so I eat a lot of food, and obviously my macronutrient balance is a specific way because I have Hashimoto's disease, and my thyroid doesn't do very well with high sugar foods and a lot of carbohydrates. So I have to be very cautious about that, or I have to do different things on a weekly basis to sort of cycle carbohydrates into my diet so I'm getting enough to fuel my workout. So I have to do a lot of funky things for me specifically and my specific medical conditions and to fuel my workouts. So when somebody comes to me and says, I want to know what you're eating, it's like, well, but what are you going to do with that? How much benefit is that going to give you? Number one. And number two, how is that going to help you overcome your weight gain fear? If you're having an eating disorder or you have some kind of an emotional dependency on food, I'm going to tell you straight up, you need to be working with somebody. You need to be working with a health coach, a counselor, psychiatrist, somebody. You need to go talk to somebody, dietitian, whoever. I don't care who it is. You need to get help. Stop making excuses. I will tell you that when I was going through my own issues with really fearing eating more food, I saw so many doctors, nutritionists, dietitians, and every single one of them looked at me like I had three heads. They all gave me just this blank look when I go in their office and say, I'm so scared about eating. I don't know what's going on, and I lost all this weight, and like, how much should I be eating? And none of them knew how to react to me because none of them had been through it before. None of them had been in my shoes, so they just didn't know. And like I said, I had researched this, and I couldn't find anybody who had any research or anything out there that said this is how you deal with yourself post weight loss. So I had to figure it out on my own. I had to figure it out, and as kind of life threw things at me, I ended up working through it on my own as I got injured and just being forced to deal with it head on. So when people come to me and they say, the things that this reader was saying, it's concerning to me because it really touches me on a deep level. I have been there. I know how horrifying that feels, and you just feel suffocated and isolated. I mean, I know what it feels like. And I just wish that when I was going through it, I would have had somebody like me to turn to. So my point is to you, if you are one of those people who is really dealing with an issue like that with food, or you're on a 1,200 calorie diet and you're doing all kinds of damage to your body and not aware of it, then you need somebody like me to help you. Because I think a lot of people, there's so much misinformation out there, and you can't go from a website to a website and say, oh, this is what so-and-so's eating, or this is what so-and-so's exercise is, and I'm just going to do that, and that's going to work for me. No, honey, that is not a guarantee. As a matter of fact, there's so many adverse effects that could happen to you. It could put you at danger. So, I don't want to turn you off and say that you shouldn't research and you shouldn't be advocating for your own health. You should be. But make sure you're smart about where you're getting your information from. Make sure that you're getting it from a credible source. Make sure that you are working with somebody who is knowledgeable and is accredited in some of these areas, because there's a lot of bloggers out there. There's a lot of healthy living bloggers out there. And I can't tell you how many times I see a healthy living blogger promoting something that they say is healthy, and then I look at the product and I go, that's not healthy, that's just something that's marketed as healthy. But because the healthy living blogger doesn't have a nutrition degree or a dietetic degree or any type of medical field experience, they don't really know. So they're saying it's healthy, and then you as a reader is interpreting that as healthy. So really be smart. Be a smart consumer. Be smart about your body. Get the right kind of help. So if you are somebody who needs help and you really want to change your behavior, you want to get off the 1,200 calorie diet because it's doing damage to your body and not letting you lose weight, then let's work together. Just all you have to do is email me at megan@skinnyfitalicious.com, and we'll set up a free 15 minutes where I'll explain to you how it works and show you some other things that I've done with other clients that helps them. And we'll go through it together. There's no obligation. You can just talk to me for 15 minutes and tell me what's going on, and we'll go from there. The other thing is I will put the link to this post, My Fear of Gaining Weight. I will put the link in the post in this Facebook Live for you guys to reference if you want to go ahead and read that and see what I wrote to this reader. Yeah, and if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I would love to hear any comments or questions that you have. So with that, have a great day. Bye, guys.